Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paperboy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And what is it today? It's BOLO Day.
I was going to say the wrong thing.
I almost said the wrong thing too. That's why I just paused and asked you.
Yeah.
You're probably saying, what is BOLO Day? Obviously, we're confused and don't know either. It's Be on the Lookout Day. Today's the day where we take a look at the sales highlights for the past week. We tell you what's sold and why it's sold and go deep down into it. And Mr. Magazine, why don't you take it away?
All right. First up, we've talked about these magazines in the past. Hard Rock Video, number 5, February 1986, D. Snyder, Ozzy Dio, and so forth. Didn't go for a ton of money. I think I took $25 on this, but still, it's $25 for a magazine plus shipping. I can't argue too much. You know, I probably was asking $40 at one point on sale, but we've had it probably, didn't have it too long, about a year. But again.
And I'm trying to think of a Twisted Sister song, and I know they had two, but I can't think of it.
Mental Health?
Was that them? I don't think so. Everybody was going to yell at me down below in the categories.
Right.
That's quite right. Everybody down below is going to, and I keep thinking "Fight for Your Right," but that's not them either. That's Beastie Boys. Sorry, D. I know you had I know you had two big hits, and I can picture you in the video. It's where he goes through the door. Remember?
Yeah.
So we know the video. Sorry,
we're not going to take it.
There you go.
Yeah, all right.
That's it. We finally got it.
I do get them mixed up. All right. So yeah, any early '80s rock magazines, I would pick them up for sure. All right, next up here, Ferengi, Star Trek, The Next Generation, Galoob Vintage Figure, unopened. So the weird characters in this series go for like double or triple the regular
Spock or the
all that. Yeah,
Kirk.
Exactly. The Next Generation, they weren't in it, but Picard.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying. But this one for $42.
I'm having a tough day today.
Yeah, you're close. You're like All right, next up. Dynamite Magazine, Volume 7, Number 10, May 1994, Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. Well, the reason I brought this up is I bought a bunch of these from this deal in Ohio a few years ago. We finally found them. They're mint. They're complete. I had one listed on eBay. I had one listed on Amazon. They sold within a day of each other.
Oh, wow.
The eBay one sold for $18, maybe even $16. I can't remember what the offer. The Amazon one sold for $100.
Oh.
So I learned my lesson. Do not put these types of magazines on eBay. Wait your turn on Amazon, and you'll get the buck for it.
Wow.
If you're not, if you're ungated.
Wow.
Yeah, big difference though. Crazy. Yeah.
That is insane.
And they were probably listed around the same time because I got them at the same place. We put them out at the same time. So yeah, it is crazy.
Wow.
There you go. Next up, 1982 E.T. extraterrestrial movie poster, 27 by 41 one sheet. This was framed, but I think they paid a good chunk of change for the shipping, $60. Went for $100 plus the shipping.
And that's an original one sheet from the theater?
Yeah, original, but it is framed, so it's a little pricey to ship out. But, you're still talking, it's probably worth $50 to $100 unframed. Yeah.
Wow, 116. Nice.
You see that? Scarf them up. Next up, German Soldier, Indiana Jones. Seems to be the movie of choice this week. The figure from 1982 sold for $50. And looks to be in great shape. I don't know if it came with a weapon.
Now, how did he know it was Indiana Jones?
I remember this character myself, but my lister, he, for whatever reason, I don't know if he does Google Lens, but he can find any figure. It's amazing. So I got a good action figure lister.
Nice.
So, yeah, good stuff. But if you see it out there, it just looks like a soldier with a gray beard and doesn't look like much, but $50. And if you got a weapon, it's probably going to go for $70.
Wow.
Yep. Next up, Pittsburgh Steelers fan lot die-cast plush ball helicopter lot of 10. This sold almost a week ago, probably after the Bills beat them, before the Bills lost to the Chiefs. Just had to put that in there. Anyways, I took $65 on this. Doesn't look like much, but it's a whole lot. $65.
But it's a good way to get rid of just a mishmash.
It's a lot of things that are $5-10, maybe even, and then it's a lot.
Yeah, you get rid of them all.
Exactly. Instead of listing, 10 items for $5 to $10. Yep.
Right. Yep.
Absolutely. That's the way to go. All right. Last up, White Red Van Hool Trailways Holland Dado 187 scale diecast bus. I picked up a collection of these from a good customer of mine that collects them and then he gets bored of them. And a lot of them went for like $30 to $100. So these 187 scale diecast buses, people are collecting them. And
now, how big is 187 scale on a bus?
It's probably like...
It's bigger than a Hot Wheel, right?
Yeah, it's probably like 5 inches long, maybe.
Okay.
So, yeah. But again, if you find them, pick them up regardless and make sure you list, the brand, the advertising on it, because we get a lot of questions on that stuff.
Now, did they come in a box originally?
Yeah. Some were boxed, some were packaged on cards. It all depends.
Okay.
Some are plastic, some are metal, but it's crazy what they sell for. Yeah.
That's good to know.
I think you were up.
I'm up, and I sold an empty box. Animal Story Library, number 3637, Platinum Monk, 1952, empty box. I probably, if I were bored or were better organized, I probably could hang on to this box, and at times I find these books out there that would go in here, and I probably could put together a lot of 16 and end up selling it, or I could get $28 out of the box. Now, there happened to be a price sticker on the back of the box when I shipped it out of $10. I probably picked it up on half price day, so I probably paid $5 for it and sold it for $28. Didn't get rich off of it.
Yeah.
But again, it's literally an empty box with no books. It came just like that. So there's money to be made in empty boxes, obviously.
Cool artwork.
Yeah, neat item there. Up next, have you sold this before? Ralph Lauren Home Magazine.
I don't believe so.
Or catalog.
Yeah, very cool.
Fall 2000. Got $39 out of it with bids. 6 bids on it. Picked it up from a collection from somebody that just didn't think it was worth listing. And I said, I think that's a halfway decent little item just for being Ralph Lauren. Didn't really know what to say about it because it's got stuff in it.
The guy in the cover looks like a Brad Pitt wannabe.
There you go. So maybe I should have said Brad Pitt wannabe. Up next, Two American Boys in the War Zone by L. Worthington Green, hardcover, 1915. I think it took a $120 offer on it. It's been listed since 2018. To steal a big line from Mr. Magazine. Doesn't look like much, but it's one of those deals that I had no idea it's worth that when I bought it.
Was this in that deal we unloaded all those boxes?
No, 2018.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea where I got it at. No clue at all. It's not something or other that I would have picked out to buy at most sales. So it probably came in some deal somewhere. Mm-hmm. Unless literally it was some sale that they were either giving stuff away or it's like, there's nothing else here. I'll just take a chance on this old book.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was worth anything when I listed it, and I really didn't even remember or know it was worth anything until the guy made me like a $120 offer on it. And I'm looking going, oh, I want $153 on it. I guess that's a good book.
Yeah.
But that's the importance of doing, and I know you've learned this as well, the importance of doing good research up front.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if I didn't do good research and this was sitting here and you said, oh, cool, I collect that, you take $25, I probably would have taken it because I probably have 50 cents into it.
Yeah.
But the good research put that price on it, and then somebody or other made me a good offer on it. Up next, New Yorker Magazine, November 27, 2017, Betty Boop. Now this sold because...
Is this the rare upside down cover?
That's the reason why it sold. It stepped on my jokes.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say it's like the inverted Jenny. It's the inverted Boop. Very, very rare. Mm-hmm. I want to see this. Nope, that was the right side up. So yeah, it just somehow or other. I'm a one-man band and I missed this, and I don't know how. I really truly don't know how. I'm gonna blame it on eBay glitching that I changed it, but it moved it back the other way.
I think it's cool that Kingpin is flashing Betty Boop upside down.
But again, I don't care who we are. I try to have quality control, and I messed this one up.
And what my employees would say, it's still sold.
It did. But, again, not very professional looking there. I wanted you to be able to read the address on the mailing label. That's why I did that. It's very, very important. But, again, I try my best to catch this kind of things, but sometimes stuff slips through the cracks. So it does happen. Just wanted to show that for that reason. Up next, you know who everybody loves?
Raymond.
DVD seasons 1 through 6. I think I took like a $16 offer or something other like this. And it's kind of sad how cheap DVDs are.
Yeah.
That being said,
it's a lot of content for $16.
An awful lot of content, yeah. The other side of this, though, was I was at a library sale, and it was literally fill a bag for $5. And I was running out of things to put in the bag because the books were all pretty well picked through. Yeah. I said, oh, they got DVDs. If I just grab a whole bunch of the same kind of DVDs. So I ended up basically paying for a whole bag of books with these after fees and shipping. So the way I look at it is, did I make a lot? No, I did not. That being said, I didn't pay a lot either. And often that's one of the secrets of making this reselling work is not paying a lot. And essentially getting those for free because I was already buying the bag made it worth it to sell it for that amount of money. Up next, the Ladies Cabinet Magazine, July 1841, Mary Hewitt Leonard Woods Jr., $56. That's an older magazine, Mr. Magazine.
Very old, yeah.
I didn't pay much for it. I am sure of that. A couple of bucks for it. And that to me is always amazing that you'll find things like this at flea markets or antique shows and that kind of thing. And some dealer will have this out there and want like $2 on it. Yeah. And you're sitting there. Then again, they paid 50 cents for it according to the price, so they made good money too. But it's almost 200 years old.
Yeah.
And to pick it up for a couple of bucks, I don't care what it is. If it's 200 years old or 150 years old in a magazine, you're going to make money on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt at all about that. Up next, if you had Bounty Magazine.
I don't believe I have.
I think you read this magazine and then you can quicker pick her up or your spills. August 1956, Southern Italy Politics, Ralph Kaplan, $32. And it just shows it's some oddball magazines. I mean, if you've never seen that magazine, and I'm pulling all these magazines out that you haven't seen before, somehow or other they're selling this week. I don't know why. Positive thing, but sometimes you'll find a magazine like this out there. Don't be afraid to put the price on it because where else are they going to get it? I think that's a fair question on some of this stuff. Up next. This was difficult to list because I didn't really know how to describe it. I had to do a bunch of research on it to figure out that Alexander and Oviatt are a haberdashery. So I had to search on their name to find out who they were and what they were. And what it turns out, what they did is they were searching out different fashions and styles. So they went all over Europe to find the hottest new fashions to bring to you. Well, this was where they were showing you with a facsimile ticket all the places that they went to in Europe and what the places looked like in Europe. I mean, it's a really neat little item there, but how do you describe that? Luckily, somebody or other was able to find it and like it and pay the $64 for it. But yeah, it's just one of those odd items that you're going to find out there. Took a guess 1920s, and I also took a guess at that by doing a bunch of research on the company as well, when they were around, etc. So this is one of those items, and I mean no disrespect to you, Mr. Magazine, nor your listers. You probably would never get this listed.
No.
You probably wouldn't, because it was a fair amount of research. I probably put 10 minutes worth of research into it just to figure out what it was and how I was going to list it.
If someone listed it, it'd be not a good listing, and it would go for like $20.
Yep. So that was one time where it did pay off doing the research. The downside of that is you never know when you start where it's going to lead, and sometimes you waste 10 minutes and you can't find anything else out.
Exactly.
And the final item we had today, George W.P. Gerard Seed Potatoes Early Corn and Seeds Catalog, 1897, from Caribou, Maine. We're pretty big resellers up in Caribou, Maine. I think we're one of the biggest reselling channels up there.
Wow.
Hit the like button we will when this guy gets his business card and follows the channel. So do hit the like button if you're in Caribou, Maine. And everybody else hit it too, because that's not going to probably sustain the channel.
Yeah, makes sense.
I gave him a 10% offer, and he accepted it. So it was $83, something rather like that. But this is one of those items that years ago, I probably would have priced it at like $25, $30, $35. And then I looked into it and I said, it's 1897. It's a small town. Yeah. It's got a lot of neat pictures in it. How many of these can possibly be out there? Somebody's going to want it. Yeah. And that's where raising the price up logically ended up paying off for me, because again, I ended up getting $80 out of something like this that I picked it up at an estate sale, so I'm sure I paid $5 or under for it. So kind of interesting stuff this week, especially with some oddball little paper stuff that's sold this past week. And I know a lot of times a lot of people will be complaining about eBay, but a lot of the things I just showed up here, where would they ever sell elsewhere?
No, that's true.
I mean, when you get down to it, how are you ever going to sell a lot of this stuff otherwise?
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps you a little bit. If you hit the like button, especially if you're from Caribou, Maine, it would definitely help us. Definitely do appreciate all of you. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.